So one of the things that has always impressed me about certain Christians is the ability to preach a sermon. Whenever I find a good preacher, someone for example like Tim Conway or the late R.C. Sproul, I mean these guys, and people from my own church, and I'm sure if you belong to a church, you may know people, other brothers who have this gift to be able to stand and herald the gospel in a way that makes sense, in a way that draws you. Now, there are people that I believe they may have the gift of being able to speak before people, the gift of public speaking, but I don't believe they have the gift of pastoring. And for me, one thing that a man must have in order to be an effective pastor is they must be able to draw you in. It's one thing to be able to preach a sermon, okay? I've sat underneath boring preaching, okay, to where I'm having to fight to stay coherent. I'm having to fight to focus. And we all know that, listen, we're all going to have to sit under preaching that at times is going to be hard to stay focused with. But I know men that their preaching is just flat, it's boring, and it's not effective. Okay. And part of why I believe their preaching is not effective is because I don't think they have the gift of imagination. And the reason why I use the word imagination is one of the things I think is great about good preachers is they have a way of bringing you into their life and using examples from their life in a way that makes that portion of the sermon pop out. Okay. I think Paul Washer does this very good. I think that's part of why he's as big as he's gotten. He's an awesome preacher, but I think he has a way of making the sermon personal and making it apply to you who is listening. And I think if you're not doing that as a pastor, you're not being effective. And I've preached before men at the rescue mission. I've preached before my members at my church. I've led Sundays, Bible study classes. And one thing I always try to do is, number one, I'm not preaching to preach. I'm preaching at you. Okay. And I want to, anytime I stand before anyone to herald the good news, if it's not going to be effective, I'm not going to do it. And this is why sometimes I've had people try to tell me what they want me to preach. I don't do that. If you want me to preach, I'm going to preach what the Lord has pressed upon my heart. It has to be something that I am meditating on, something that my heart is telling me this is important. Okay. Because for preaching to me is not just something you do like a 9-to-5 job. Okay. If that's your mindset, and I've met people that thought like that. I remember when I was lost, I worked with a guy when I worked for the Department of Veteran Affairs. He was lost. But his grandfather, who had a church, who would started a church and built it up, he was retiring and he wanted him to step into his place. And I remember him telling me, he was like, yeah, man, my granddad told me I can make $1,000 a week, $1,500 a week doing this. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, you shouldn't be preaching. And that was when I was lost. I was thinking that. Okay. He was leading with this fact that he was going to be getting a certain amount of money, and as though it was some type of side job. Listen, this is not a side job. Okay. This is the most important job known to mankind. Okay. This is why there are warnings in book of James, that not many should do this. Okay. I believe James 3. So this is serious. And if I'm going to come before a group of people, of which in a lot of cases, most are lost, I want to preach something that's going to slap them in the face and wake them up. Okay. And I think one thing that has been missed from a lot of churches is the doctrine of regeneration. Okay. Soteriology, what it means to be saved. Okay. What that actually looks like. Because listen, it's one thing to preach Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. The people come in, they listen, and they leave. They come in as lost, and they leave just as lost as they came in. So my passion has always been, I know there are people here that are lost. Okay. At my church, we have I'm so thankful to the Lord for my church. There are a lot of truly converted people in my church, but then there are the people that come in. We bus in men from the Milwaukee Rescue Mission or the Milwaukee Men's Mission Center, where men are, recovering from jail, just gotten out of jail, or recovering drug addicts or things like that. And there's this Christian center that allows them to live there, but they have to basically attend church and Bible studies and things like that. And we actually bus many of those men to our church. And I'll see these guys sitting out in the waiting area. And I was talking to one guy and I said, hey, it's great that you come here, but I don't want you thinking that coming here and sitting out in a waiting area and then just leaving. I don't want you to think that this is just a place to escape. You can just get away from the rescue center for a couple hours and then go back. Listen, your soul is at stake. Okay. You need to be saved. You need to be hearing the gospel. Okay. This isn't just some place that you come to hang out. We come out of service sometimes and some of the guys are out there laughing and you can tell they're joking around. It's not serious. Okay. Don't think that because you're coming to a church that that's going to merit some type of favor on a day of judgment before the Lord. If all you're doing is coming just to escape that place that you live at for a couple hours, it's filthy rags. It's worthless. Okay. You might as well stay where you are. You'd be better off wandering the streets, honestly. Okay. If you're not going to take this serious, if you're not going to truly try to hear the good news, the gospel, to sit under the preaching, it's better that you were just cold than to be lukewarm. Don't play that game. And recently, a dear brother, Joe Ebert, this man his knowledge of church history is just absolutely astonishing. He for the most part would lead our Bible studies, and I don't think he was an elder, but he was a he may have been an elder. He may have been an elder, but he was one of our top guys. He recently made the decision with him and his wife that they were going to step away from the church. He actually started a Christian academy school for children. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's called Doxa Academy. Look it up. Doxa Academy, Joel Ebert. It's in New Berlin, Wisconsin. And they have a school, they have a church, and I think he's stepping away from our church to take on a bigger role there. And that was a big loss. That was a big loss for our church. So I think now our pastor is trying to look at me as someone that he may want to step into a more prominent role with leading Bible studies and just being more involved within the church. And I'll do my best. But I just think it's very important that we remember this is no game. And Sunday, it's not just a free day. Okay. If you are a professing Christian and you do not belong to a local church, find one. Or don't. But by you not doing that, by you not wanting to belong to a local church, that tells me exactly what you are. Okay. I'm not saying that you must belong to a local church in order to be saved. I'm saying if you are saved, your heart's desire, your passion will be to be amongst the people of God, to be a member of the local body, and to be contributing. We had a young guy. He actually came to Wisconsin, came to America from, I think, somewhere in Africa. And it's amazing how we have people come and we have people go. People will show interest, they'll be coming to the church, and then they'll just be gone. And this young guy, from what I can see, he is a true believer. He has a passion. He's knowledgeable, and he was coming to the church for 2 or 3 months very faithfully. And he had an issue getting to church. He was Ubering to church every day, every Sunday. And me and another brother told him, listen, no, okay, I'm going to pick you up from church and I'm going to drop you off. You're on my way. Okay. It's not a problem, but don't spend your money. Okay. We will pick you up and we will make sure you get home. And he was fine with that. And I did that for a while, but then he started to get kind of flaky, and then he stopped showing up. And a week went by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month and a half. And so I reached out to him and I was, hey, is everything okay? What's going on? Is there anything I can do? And he basically let me know. He said, I don't want to be a burden. So that's why I haven't been coming, because I don't want you to have to pick me up and drop me off. Listen, number one, and I rebuked him because I said, that's pride talking. That's pride talking. I've told you that it's no problem. Our other brother Phil, has told you it's no problem. Don't try to think that you're being noble or respectful, okay, by saying, oh, no, I'm not going to come because I don't want to be a burden. Listen, if I didn't have transportation and there was a brother in the church who said, listen, it's no problem. You're on my way to church. I'll pick you up. No problem to take you home. I'm taking them rides. Every Sunday, I'm taking them. Thank you, brother. And I'm going to, listen, hey, can I wash your car? Hey, what can, here's a couple dollars for gas, whatever. But I'm going to take that. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I can't go to church because I don't want to be a burden. That's that. If you want to use that excuse, that's okay. But understand, okay, I don't have any assurance that you're truly a believer. Okay. See, people that are false, they'll make excuses why they can't do something, but the truth is you just don't want to. You just don't want to. Right. And, that kind of leads me into, my wife has a nephew. I guess he's her nephew. He's like, I don't know. He's like, 5 or 6, young boy, he's surrounded by women, and he started playing in nail polish. Right. And, my wife wanted me to, get on the phone with him and to talk to him, because, it's amazing how much boys and little girls need men. It's amazing how much they need masculine energy within their presence. Okay. You listen to me. You allow children to be raised by nothing but women. You watch how it affects them. I look at my cousins. I look at guys that I know who were raised with by nothing but females. They were around nothing but women. And you can see how that has affected them. No, they're not gay, but you can see how feminine and how sissy they can kind of be. Okay. Listen, children need men. They need women too. But the man is the pillar of the family. You remove the man, you've got problems. There's a reason why. What is it, like 86% of inmates were raised by single mothers? Listen, you remove that masculine energy. Listen, my dad was not a Christian, but he was a man that got up every day, went to work. He took care of home. He paid the bills. He was a present figure in my life. And I got to see how he moved as a man. And he never sat down and taught me how to be a man or taught me how to, to conduct. It was just me watching him. Okay. Just me watching him. And I hold much of the reason why I'm successful in my jobs because of being able to watch how he conducted himself as a man. Okay. My sister was able to watch him Okay. And she ended up marrying a man just like him, who was hardworking. Okay. Who's respectable, who respects her. And see, it's so important that children get to experience masculinity. And I remember Paul Washer saying, you go to the park as a man and you'll see a bunch of, women with their children. And it's amazing how all the boys will run up to the guy because there's no men there, but one guy shows up and all the boys want to, hey, mister, watch me throw the football. Hey, hey. And it's like they all want to be that man's son for the next 20 minutes. Boys need men. So I talked to this young boy, my wife's little nephew, about why boys don't mess with nail polish. Okay. And I went into, how God created him and how God created him to be. And, and he was listening and he was like very attentive to what I was saying. But it's just a reminder that it's a very scary thing. A broken home is very destructive, very destructive. And, we need good fathers. We need godly men as fathers, right? That herald the Lord within their homes. That's so important. Even when I was just talking about in New York when the Knicks just won a championship and all these guys, these young boys, these teenagers, these young 20-year-olds are out there acting a fool. I know for a fact none of those boys have fathers. I know they don't. I know for a fact. Okay. I know for a fact that those boys have no fathers. Okay. There's nothing to wrangle them in. There's no fear in their heart at all. And so yeah, you know, but I forgot what I was gonna say. But yes, thank you for listening.